Hello fans, welcome to Man Utd Transfer HQ. Stay updated with the latest transfer gossip and breaking news.
Our today news is exclusive. Man Utd made mistake with Ruben Amorim after claims he wants to quit the club. Ruben Amorim's Manchester United tenure continues to limp out of the gates, and this ex-Premier League pro believes hiring the 40-year-old mid-season was an error. Manchester United should have brought want-away boss Ruben Amorim to Old Trafford in the summer, not mid-season, says Clinton Morrison. A string of dismal results saw previous head coach Erik ten Hag relieved of his duties in October last year, and the decision was made that Sporting CP's prodigious Amorim would be handed the reins just a few months into the current Premier League season. While many expected things on the pitch to pick up immediately, they simply have not. Amorim has won just 4 of his first 15 league matches, and the Red Devils sit a lowly 15th in the table, not a million miles off the relegation places. Morrison, who played nearly 100 top-flight matches for the likes of Birmingham City and Crystal Palace, believes that the Portuguese coach should have been installed to begin a new campaign as he now lacks the players capable of thriving in his system amid claims he could be eyeing up the eject button. If they wanted to bring in Ruben Amorim, they should have brought him in the summer, Morrison admitted, speaking to freebets.com. Instead of letting Erik ten Hag stay another season and bring his players in at the start of the season. And then now sacking him, and then Ruben Amorim having to work with the players who probably don't understand his system, or they're not getting it at the moment. So it's kind of a difficult one. I think with Man United, maybe they should have made that choice early on. Now, some of those players he's brought in, I'm just saying, not good enough for Man United Football Club. And that's not being disrespectful. Morrison pointed out that key areas on the pitch, namely Amorim's beloved wingback role, central midfield, and the number 9 position, are weaker at Old Trafford compared to what the 40-year-old was working with in Portugal. They're going to have to suffer, Man United fans, Morrison continued. It's going to take 2 or 3 transfer windows until Ruben Amorim can get the players, and people can buy into how he wants to play. So it's going to be a struggle. Coming in and changing his style so quickly, the players haven't adjusted. They don't have wingbacks that can go and do the job that his wingbacks were doing at Sporting Lisbon. They don't have the 2 center midfielders that can cover the ground. They don't have a center forward like Victor Gyökeres. There's a whole lot of things. Presenter Richard Keys has also piled further misery upon the out-of-sorts boss by suggesting that Amorim wants to leave Manchester just 3 months after his arrival. Stay tuned for more updates on Man Utd Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more Man United transfer news. Our second news is Ruben Amorim's sack verdict given as Man United boss told he is the problem. Ruben Amorim has failed to lift Manchester United into the top half of the Premier League, and the Portuguese has been slammed in the lead-up to the Europa League round of 16. Manchester United head coach Ruben Amorim has been told his 3-4-3 setup isn't working, with former England star Paul Merson insisting he needs to change things up. Amorim thrived with the setup at Sporting CP, leaving the Lisbon club in November after an unbeaten start to the season in the Primeira Liga and Champions League. Since moving to England, though, things have been much tougher. United have taken just 15 points from 15 Premier League matches under Amorim, winning 4, drawing 3 and losing 8. They have had more success in the Europa League, going unbeaten through the league phase to set up a round of 16 meeting with Real Sociedad, but questions remain. Despite coming from behind to draw with Everton on Saturday, Amorim's team are winless in 3 in the league. Ahead of Wednesday's game at home to Ipswich Town, Merson has taken aim at the boss, though he stopped short of suggesting United will change things in the dugout. Ruben Amorim is the problem at Manchester United, Merson told Sky Sports, arguing he is sending players out to fail by persisting with the system. The 3 at the back isn't working the way he'd planned. So, change it, he added. He's not helping the players, he's helping himself by just keeping it the way he's been used to playing all his managerial career or most of it. Top managers are flexible. They go, you know what, I don't really want to play this way, but I've got to play to the players' strengths, and then when I can get my players in at the end of the season, I'll go back to playing the way I want to play. But, at the moment, they need to start playing a different way because they won't beat Real Sociedad, playing like this. I don't think they will move Amorim on either. They don't have the money to start all over again. They'll have to go with this man. But my worry is, we all know that they can't play three at the back, we know they're all over the place. Amorim saw some positives from his United side on Saturday, despite a slow start leaving them 2-0 down to Everton at the break. Goals from Bruno Fernandes and Manuel Ugarte rescued a point, with Everton seeing a last-gasp penalty overturned following a VAR check. In training, we have to continue to do the same, Amorim told TNT Sports after the draw. In the second half, we changed nothing. We have to do the same thing but in a good way. We have to improve on creating chances, and in this game also we struggle with scoring goals. Stay tuned for more updates on Man Utd Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more Man United transfer news. Our third news is Arsenal are big losers from VAR, with Gunners benefiting from just one overturn all season. Arsenal have felt a little hamstrung by VAR calls this term, but while they've suffered more than most at the hands of the technology, they aren't the worst affected team when it comes to overturns. Arsenal have benefited from fewer VAR overturns than any other Premier League team this season. VAR has once again proven to be a polarizing and hugely debated topic this term, with a number of high-profile and contentious decisions dominating headlines. The technology has been consistently scrutinized and criticized since it was introduced in the top flight back in 2019-20. That said, it was voted in unanimously by Premier League clubs, and a motion to scrap it was defeated by a 19-1 vote last year, but while faith in the system evidently lingers, there's clearly plenty of work to do before fans, players, and coaches are fully satisfied with it. This season, Arsenal have felt particularly aggrieved, with several controversial calls going against them, including Miles Lewis-Skelly's red card during Saturday's defeat to West Ham at the weekend. Their frustration is understandable, given that they've suffered more than most when it comes to VAR intervention. In fact, they've had fewer overturned decisions go in their favor than every other Premier League side this term, with just one intervention benefiting them. And that was all the way back on September 28 when Kai Havertz's 99th-minute goal in the 4-2 win over Leicester was allowed to stand after an incorrect offside call. Decisions benefiting teams are ones where VAR has overturned the on-field decision on goals, penalties and red cards. This relates purely to overturned decisions. So, for instance, a team's goal being allowed to stand after it was ruled out or having a penalty awarded after a VAR check or a red card rescinded are all examples of decisions going for a team. As are decisions ruling out an opponent's goal, penalty, or an opponent's player being sent off after a VAR review. Decisions going against a team are ones that cancel out their goal or penalty after it was awarded, or if one of their players gets sent off as a result of a VAR check, and an overturn that benefits their opponents. In terms of VAR interventions going against Arsenal, they're also one of the biggest sufferers, having had 5 decisions result in a goal being disallowed or one of their players being sent off, including Miles Skelly's red at the weekend. Arsenal's bad luck with VAR has led to fan fury, with Mikel Arteta's men now struggling to keep pace with Liverpool in the title race. However, while the Gunners have had the fewest interventions benefit them, they have not had the most go against them. Stay tuned for more updates on Man Utd Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more Man United transfer news. Our last news is inside Jamie Carragher versus Rio Ferdinand, AFCON row, clown, digs, Cristiano Ronaldo spat. Jamie Carragher and Rio Ferdinand have clashed on social media various times in recent years, and Monday saw a fresh row following the Liverpool legend's comments on the Africa Cup of Nations. Liverpool legend Jamie Carragher's controversial comments on the Africa Cup of Nations have escalated his feud with ex-teammate Rio Ferdinand. Carragher and Ferdinand, who locked horns in the Premier League while representing rivals Liverpool and Manchester United, played alongside each other for England during the 2000s, competing for a centre-back spot. But there's been no love lost between the pair since moving into punditry. Their latest spat came on Monday following Carragher's comments about AFCON and how they'd affect Mo Salah in his quest to win the Ballon d'Or. The former Liverpool defender was attempting to make the point that the tournament wasn't a major one in the eyes of voters, and that other players from weaker footballing nations have had to rely on their achievements at club level. Ferdinand acknowledged that many fans would agree with Carragher's comments but labeled those people ignorant. That comment is representative of the majority of people out there. I think it's an ignorant thought process, Ferdinand claimed on his YouTube channel. If you go to Didier Drogba, Samuel, Eto'o, Riyad, Mahrez, Salah now, they'll say, we have to win this. Yes, it doesn't get backed like the Euros investment-wise, but that doesn't mean you have to devalue it. It's a continent of huge power that contributes to European football massively. It should be respected more than it is. I understand what Jamie's saying, but I don't agree with it. That's a majority view and it's not right. What Jamie's saying, and he's right, if Salah won AFCON, it would have no bearing on anyone's voting on the Ballon d'Or, and that's wrong. That was one of the parts he was arguing about. Ferdinand shared a clip of the video on Instagram and Carragher replied, I didn't say that, you clown, stop playing to the gallery like you always do. In response, Ferdinand said, you've had a bad couple of weeks. Miles, Lewis Skelly and Pep Guardiola. That isn't the first time that the pair have clashed on social media, and the word clown has been thrown about before. Stay tuned for more updates on Man Utd Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more Man United transfer news.